we are looking at Asian Paints on hourly time frame. I'm choosing hourly time frame because I'll trade on 15 minutes time frame. Remember, you should draw your trend lines on the higher time frame of your trading time frame. So as you can see, price made low here and it started its rally, did a small pullback and started this rally, this retracement and started heading. You can see there is no chance that this first retracement will be like, it's not even 30%. Let's check. If I put my Fibonacci, it is coming to the towards 38.2%. We don't want this. If we are if we think of drawing a trend line like this, then this will not be a valid trend line. Okay, then we will draw, or we will check whether this particular swing low to high does the retracement what in our area. So answer is yes, it does come to the 61%. So what we will do, we will draw a trend line like this connecting these two points and extending in future like this. Okay, now since this is not our trading time frame, let's switch to our trading time frame, that is 15 minutes. Okay, now here is our trend line, you first point and second point. After price started moving north, we identified this point, so we will not be able to capture this trend, and then prices slowly steadily grinding on the north. Okay, so here you want a cross trend line to form, and look at the void compared to previous, this void is much higher, so the price movement will be lower. So if we connect these lines as a cross trend line, you can see the price came near trend line, it broke the cross trend line, retest, and then heading south, heading north. So based on the concept of trend line, you can either enter here when these highs are broken, because price was struggling to go up, it is like forcefully coming down and suddenly it gaps up. So at this gap you can trade, you can do ORB strategy at this particular day, or you can check for this particular trend line to be broken, sorry, this particular trend line to be broken and tested. As soon as it complete its test and start moving north, you can buy here. So there are so many entries, so many techniques giving you the entry. You can enter using ORB because the price bounced from this particular like, let me explain once again. Price bounced here, but day ends here and next day we gap up. So ideally you should enter as soon as this high is broken. But since we gap up next day, you cannot take entry based on this. So what you will do, you will simply plot your 15 minutes high low points, that is your ORB, and you will look for ORB trades on ORB breakout trades on the long side. Okay, also if you try to draw a trend line like this, sorry, not a trend line, a cross trend line like this, you see the price broke this cross trend line, come back to test this for a couple of candles and then started heading north. If you enter here, which is somewhere around, let's assume 521, on the same day the price made a high of 1550, so it's almost 29 points move for a 1500 stock. This is 2% move. Okay, then we'll go ahead. We were talking about this move earlier. Okay, now the price is coming down like this, and then this is started flowing down. So as soon as it breaks the cross trend line and do the retest, you will look for your entries. Unfortunately, here we do not have any retest, but since the high is getting broken and price is holding up, you may look for your entry somewhere here with the target equal to this particular move. The price this much and this much should be your target. Okay, so let's move ahead. Now if the price is holding this particular trend line, as soon as it breaks, see here, price has broken the original trend line, okay, but not able to sustain and going back to retest it, okay, which comes along with this cross trend line. So this is an indication that price will try to come back within the trend line at least once, and here it does immediately. It's trying to rally up and holding the trend line, or you can say hugging up the trend line consistently. Like here it was hugging up the trend line, here it was hugging up the trend line. This means the void is not getting created with by the price with the trend line. Here no void at all. This clearly indicates that this trend line is going to be broken, and you will wait for your shorts to get, trigger. If you ask me, I would have taken a shot here with this SL, where SL is getting hit. Again I would have taken shot here and see this much risk earlier, this much I lost earlier, and in next attempt I earned this much. So this is how you should trade your trend line based with some logic and the context of the chart. You cannot blindly trade any method. As they say in the market, price is Bhagwan. भाव ही भगवान है. So always you need to follow your price and understand what your price is doing. Okay, so let's move on to the next example.